Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Happy to welcome once again to the program Marta Gabriel, Skyping in from Poland tonight. We're here to talk about your solo album, Metal Queens.
Hey Lance, so nice to talk with you again. Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and thank you for your time. I have heard a copy of this. It comes out July 30th over here in the States. You're coming out a little earlier in different parts of the world. But I think over here in the States, it's July 30th on Listenable Records. Fabulous album. I want to thank you for introducing me to some music and groups that I had not heard of.
This is amazing to hear. So if thanks to this album, you discovered some bands you didn't know before, my mission is complete.
Absolutely. Some I had known, a couple of people I've even had the pleasure of, and honor and privilege of chatting with, but a couple of these I hadn't. Let's talk about the album a little bit. This sort of just came about quickly, didn't it?
Yes, that's true. That's true. And from the very first idea that I want to do this kind of an album, it was like month or a little bit more than a month until we got it done. So, working on this album was amazing. I had such a great time when I was recording all those songs and so on. And there was so positive aura for all the time when we were working on that. So, I cannot describe it with words. And I was also having a lot of fun because classic heavy metal is music which is closest to my heart. I mean, I listen to many different genres of music, but heavy metal is for sure my favorite one. And it's not a secret that I am a huge fan of ladies behind the microphone in those old school heavy metal bands. So recording this kind of an album for me was my way to pay my tribute to my personal metal queens. And also thanks to recording those songs, I am able to show to my listeners, to my fans, where my roots are coming from musically, who am I as a musician, what is my musical DNA. So this album means a lot to me, even though all those are cover songs.
Yeah. The other thing too, with going back to when these ladies were all funding these bands, I have never been a fan of the female fronted tag. I think it's a band is a band, whether it's led by a lady or a man. It's a band. But back then it was, and it's a little more prevalent now. There are a lot of ladies obviously fronting bands, but back then it wasn't so much. It truly was a man's world, and they sort of paved the way for everyone now. Would you agree?
For me, saying female fronted metal is just not right because it's not a genre. It's just like you would say male fronted metal.
Yeah.
Or American metal. What is that? Something like this doesn't exist. For example, one would say that Nightwish and Lee Aaron are female fronted bands. But those two are completely different bands. Those are totally different genres of music. They are not even similar. They have nothing in common except the fact they have a female vocalist. So it's a kind of not right, because nowadays people keep on using it too often, and it kind of make some things misunderstanding for some people. So if you are using female fronted band, please add a genre. What kind of a music is that? Is it a black metal? Is it a hard rock? Or for me, it's much easier to say it's a hard rock band with female vocalist. Doesn't it sound better?
Yeah.
But for me, in some ways, those label, this kind of saying female fronted metal, when we are speaking about some specific genre, just like right now, we are speaking about classic heavy metal. When you would say, or me would say, female fronted metal, we know what we are talking about, right? We are talking about old school classic heavy metal. So when we are speaking about within this one genre, this might be a kind of a hint for a person who might expect woman, right, behind the microphone. But using it on a normal basis, it's like makes no sense to me at all. But the sentence people are using nowadays, metal queens, and many people are using it kind of often, and it sounds nice. I really like it, and I decided to make an album with my personal metal queens. So yeah.
Let's jump into a few of the tracks. I mean, in the press release you talked about, some of the tracks. So I wanted to dig a little deeper with you on a few of them. I'd love to do all of them, but it would take us an hour. So I'm going to pick a few here. Opening track, I had never heard this song, this band. The band is called Acid. Came from the Maniac album released way back in 1983, a tune called Max Overload. How did you get introduced to Acid, the band?
Let me start with saying this, that it's kind of not a surprise for me that, for example, you didn't know some of those bands on this album, because I do know that some of them had only kind of local popularity, like, for example, Santa was known mostly in Spain. It wasn't this kind of a band which was popular in entire Europe, because it wasn't. They were popular in Spain, and that's it. And regarding Acid, Max Overload, I think I will make your job easier right now, because the story is exactly the same behind all of those songs on the album. I don't remember the specific time when I found those bands, but for sure I found them when I was a teenager and I started discovering heavy metal bands. And I remember my very first bands that I started listening to heavy metal were bands like, Virgin Steel, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and among them I started to discover heavy metal bands with female vocalists. And this is what I really loved, because I was already singing in metal band when I was a teenager, and this was something that I wanted to do. And when I found few ladies, heavy metal ladies, and then I started to dig much deeper and deeper and deeper, and I found many cool bands. Many of them were shown to me thanks to my husband, who is also a heavy metal maniac. So with Acid, I believe it might happen that it was a band who was introduced to me by my husband, by Bart. But I am not sure, because it was all so long ago. It's not like all those bands are like something that I was looking for this year or last year because I decided to create this cover album. No, all those bands are bands that I really like, and I'm listening for years. So actually, when I was creating a list of bands that I want to cover, that I want to put on this album, that went pretty quick, because I didn't need to do any research. I didn't need to stand in front of the shelf with CDs and records to look for bands, because I knew them all before. So that actually was easy for me. But there was one part which was very difficult for me. The list at the beginning was pretty long, and there were more bands that you can hear on the Metal Queens album. And the difficult part for me was to choose only 10 or 11 songs.
Right.
And it was because I knew that we will like to release this album on a vinyl. And when you want to release your music on a vinyl, you have limited time to make the vinyl sound good. There is also a limit of songs that you can put on the vinyl. So I had to choose only 11 songs, and that was pain in the ass, because I love so many bands, and there is this list with the bands that I haven't recorded. So this could be a cool idea for the future, to maybe record Metal Queens Part 2, because I know what to record.
You've got the list right there.
Yes, if there will be possibility. I would love to do that, but I know it's too early. even to think about that, because Metal Queen's album haven't even been released yet, so this is something totally fresh and new. But time is running so fast, and there are million ideas in my head per minute, so yeah, time will show. It's mostly if I will decide to do part 2, it mostly depends of the people, if they will like this part 1 or the original Metal Queen's idea. We will see. We will see. So far, the response is pretty good, and it makes me very, very happy, because working on this album was something very, very amazing to me.
Yeah. You had Eric on guitars and Cedric on drums as well. And the thing that I couldn't get over, I mean, I don't want to say that. You guys played these songs spot on. As I was listening last night, I would go to the original, and I was sort of, like starting one of yours, and then I would start the original. They sounded identical. I mean, you guys just nailed these tunes.
Thank you very much. First of all, Eric and Cedric, they are amazing musicians. They are very talented, and they are very good in what they are doing. And that's the truth. And the other thing regarding arrangements, and the thing that the versions that we recorded sound very similar and almost the same to the original versions is that when I'm recording cover song, when I want to cover a song, I am recording it because it sounds great to me as it is. So where is the reason to change anything, in this song? I want to record it because it is beautiful and great as it is. And this is why I love this song. So I always try to respect the composer and the original ideas. But of course, each of us, we are different musicians than the original ones who recorded the original versions. So we stayed with recordings. We stayed very close to the original, but this album has also a kind of personal touch, because we are different, musicians. I'm different. I have different voice. Eric has another style of playing guitar, as well as Cedric is a totally different drummer. So yeah, but we did our best, and I really love how it sounds.
Yeah.
Eric and Ced, they are so good, and I'm really glad I'm able to work with such talented musicians, both on Metal Queen's album and in Crystal Viper, because we are bandmates, on daily basis.
My favorite track off the album, and it was hard to pick, but my favorite track was Light in the Dark, and I had the opportunity to speak with Leather a number of years ago, and she was, an amazing person to talk to. Were there any other Chastain tracks in the running, or was that the one that you chose right off the get-go?
When I wrote down on the paper Chastain name, that was the very first choice. I didn't even, think about anything else. And that was exactly the same with all of those songs, because first of all, when I was creating this list, I was writing on the piece of paper names of the bands first that I really like. And then I was writing the titles, and it went so surprisingly quick that you can't even imagine. And regarding Leather, I have met her in person, and I've seen her live on stage, and she's so lovely woman. Really, it was so nice to chat with her. And actually, we stay in touch until today. I met her in Germany after the Keep It True festival, and if I am not wrong, we've met there 2 times. Yeah, probably. But we kept in touch for so many years with Leather. She is a beautiful person inside as well. So yeah, it's always great to chat with her. And I agree with you. She's super nice.
Yeah. And you duetted on that track with Harry from Jag Panzer. How did that come about?
We know each other for many years. We are friends for many years, actually. I think I met Harry in Greece when I was playing in Athens, probably with Crystal Viper, and he was there with one of his bands, with Titan Force or with Jag Panzer. So this is how we've met, and yeah, and we remained in touch since then. And a couple of years ago, I invited Harry to sing guest vocals for one of Crystal Viper albums for Possession. And so it wasn't the very first time that I recorded something with Harry. And when I was thinking about a song for Harry and me to sing together, my very first choice was The Light in the Dark, because the song kind of reminds me the style of Jack Panther's songs. So I was sure that Harry's voice will fit perfectly to this one. And I was right. He sounds great.
Right. The other duet you did with Todd Michael Hall on Call of the Wild, the Black Lace cover, you talked about how you listen to different genres and stuff. And I saw the video that you and he did for Shallow back in 2019. I thought that was fantastic. And I thought this track was fantastic as well. You guys sing well together.
Thank you very much. And this Shallow song wasn't the very first song that I recorded with Todd. Many years ago. Let me start how me and Todd how we met. I don't remember exactly which year was that, but Todd was singer in American band Jack Star's Burning Star. And when they went on tour, they were looking for a live guitarist. And I joined them as a live guitarist. So we were on tour together. Todd was singer, I was playing guitar. And since then, we were in touch. And a couple of years later, with Crystal Viper, we recorded a cover song from Riot, Thunder Steel. And when we were recording this song, Todd was already a singer for Riot 5. So I thought it would be interesting to invite Riot singer to sing with me together, Riot's song. So this was the first time of me and Todd singing together, and I've heard that our voices sound so nice together. So when I had this idea to record Shallow, I was speaking with Todd, and he also said that he loves the song, the movie. He also liked the movie and so on. So we decided to record this song together. And here comes the interesting part. We didn't plan to record this actual music video. We only wanted to record ourselves, him at home singing song and me at my home singing song, split the screen, and that's it. But when the song was done, both of our bands, Riot and Crystal Viper, were booked for Sabaton Open Air Festival in Sweden on the same day, and one band after another. So we actually met in Sweden. So we decided to take the opportunity and to shoot a real music video for Shallow. So yeah, life brings you surprises sometimes.
Yeah, when the time of it all works out, that's awesome. That's an awesome story.
Yeah, and then when I started to work on, Metal Queen's album, I thought that it would be a cool idea to record something with Todd again, because every time when I was doing something with him, it always sounds great, and I'm a fan of Todd's voice, so always a pleasure to work with him.
Yeah, definitely. The other tune that I enjoyed, because this took me back to when I was first discovering metal and hard rock and stuff like that, was your cover of My Angel by Rock Goddess, because I remember buying that album when it first came out. Of course, this is back in the day where, there was pre-internet. We found out bands, maybe, I think I heard Bruce Dickinson on a radio interview talking about Rock Goddess, and then I might have seen an ad in Circus or Hit Parade or something. And then you got John Gallagher of Raven to play bass, and there's another band that in the my beginnings of getting into metal, another one of these bands that you heard about, and then I got the albums and it went on from there. So that was a great double whammy for me on that.
Nice to hear that. We are in touch with John because we were about to go on tour together. Raven, Crystal Viper, and one more band from Sweden, Wolf. But due to this pandemic situation, this tour was postponed so many times. And no one knows when it happens right now. But when it came to recording Metal Queen's album, and John is bass player, and I'm a huge Raven fan, I thought it would be kind of unexpected and interesting to invite a bass player to one of those songs. And I thought that, his style would fit perfectly Rock Goddess's song. So yeah, he agreed, and here we are. And I think he did an amazing job with this song. And the other thing is that I've seen Raven a couple of times live, and every time when I'm watching, Raven on stage, I'm only waiting for the stage to start to burn, because they are so energetic on stage. This is probably one of the best bands playing live that I've seen live in my entire life. They are amazing. Only 3 guys, but the things they are doing on stage are just like, wow.
I remember the first album I bought was Live at the Inferno, the double live from Raven. That was my introduction to Raven. So yeah, absolutely. Great. Just great stuff. I got to toss you out one tune, a band and a tune that I've never heard it covered, and I am a huge fan of the original. I would love to hear what you could do with it. Have you ever heard of a band called Phantom Blue?
Of course.
Time to Run is the song?
Or We're Going Mad, my favorite song from Phantom Blue.
Yeah, I love Time to Run. That just has such a heavy groove to it. Heavy.
Yes, and they have also this great music video for Why Call It Love. This is the title of the song. It's a music video recorded in a kind of a prison, or I'm not right. I don't exactly remember where was shot this video, because I have a horrible memory, but this ballad, Why Call It Love, is so beautiful. And the voice of Gigi Hanga from Phantom Blue, outstanding.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite vocalists, for sure.
Very cool. I forgot to ask you back in the beginning. Love the cover art for this. Was this something that you did, or somebody else came up with? How did that come about for Metal Queens?
Can you please repeat?
The cover art for Metal Queens, was that an image that you came up with, or did someone else come up with it for you? I love the cover art for the album.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. And when I was, when I came up with the idea of doing such an album, my producer, who is in my personal life, my husband, Bart, he told me that he has already an idea for the cover art. And then he started to describing what he sees on the cover art. And I love this idea totally. And we contacted an artist, Mario Lopez, who also painted a cover art for our previous Crystal Viper album, for latest Crystal Viper album, The Cult. And the cover art for Metal Queens, it's an actual painting from a real artist. And it's a kind of, for me, it has this 80s vibe as well. It reminds me a little bit of Kiss cover arts and something maybe from Manowar. Yeah.
Very cool. Talking with Marta Gabriel here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Her album Metal Queens comes out July 30th here in the States on Listable Records. It is a 10-track album of cover songs, bands that some people will have heard of, some people won't. Zed Yago, for instance, I had never heard of them. Looked them up, played the original, checked out the band from Germany. I loved that, had a real Scorpions vibe to that tune. That was another band I had never heard of, and amazing.
So if you like the Diago, I really recommend you to check another band which was created a little bit later, Velvet Viper.
Okay.
It's a band with the same singer. After Jutta Weinhold quit the Diago, I'm not sure if she created Velvet Viper or if she joined, but music it's almost the same. Nice. And the same vocalist. And the Diago, yes, amazing band with fantastic vocalists. I've seen Jutta Weinhold on stage a few years ago in Germany at the Keep It True festival, and trust me, this lady sounds amazing live. Her voice is so powerful, and what I love in her voice is that specific vibe, I know she's also a singer for musicals, and this is what makes her voice so original. I'm a fan of musicals, so yeah, she's one of my favorite female vocalists ever. Super one of best singers, female singers in metal for me right now, because we are speaking about female vocalists from the 80s mostly, but right now we have 21st centuries and they are still my favorite vocalists. Of course, there are many talented singers nowadays and so on, but those ones are like my female metal heroes.
Excellent. I want to get to my fun questions that we always wrap up with, but I've just thought of this one. We talk about the metal, and you mentioned listening to different genres. Who is a female vocalist that is not in the metal hard rock genre that you like to listen to?
Beth Hart.
Okay, yeah, very good.
Beth Hart, Coco Taylor, Nina Simone. Oh, Nina Simone. I love Nina Simone. She's a blues artist. I remember I was happy like a little child who gets a huge package of sweets when I found her vinyls in my local grocery store. I just couldn't believe in that I bought a vinyl from my favorite blues artist in a grocery store. It was like something impossible, but it actually happened. Yeah. And if you like Beth Hart, I really recommend you to watch the live. It was a DVD. It was released as a DVD. The live show, Joe Bonamassa with Beth Hart on vocals. Man, this is like mind-blowing. You need to see that.
Let me tell you, the first time I know the videos and DVD that you're talking about, and the first time I watched the cover when they did I'd Rather Go Blind, I'll admit it, I cried.
I had like goosebumps on all over my body when I was watching this live show, Joe Bonamassa with Beth Hart. She's so amazing, and she's pretty active on Instagram. This is so cool to see her, playing piano and singing a lot. So check her out on Instagram because she's actually posting a lot of stuff, and her voice, she's so amazing.
Such emotion. When they came out of the solo and she went into that last verse and chorus, I lost it completely. I've never seen such power but vulnerability, Amazing stuff. All right, Marta, we've done this a couple of times, so I had to come up with some new fun questions to ask you because I knew the answers to the other ones that I was gonna. Let's see. A memory of something from your teenage bedroom.
Teenage bedroom.
Yep.
Wind coming from my window to my room, ripping off posters from my wall.
And what were the posters of on your wall?
It was probably Rambo with Sylvester Stallone.
All right. We all have to start somewhere, So, let's see. I had one here. One basic item you always carry with you, say particularly when you're going out on tour. What's one item that you have to have with you, a basic item?
Water. Bottle of water, always. And not only on tour. I'm not leaving home without bottle of water.
All right. If you could speak any other language that you don't speak now instantly, what language would you pick?
Spanish.
Spanish? Let's see, let's not do that one. Let's do favorite magazine. Do you have a favorite magazine?
Favorite magazine? No, because I prefer to read books than magazines, so yeah.
Okay. What was the last book you read?
Right now I'm reading part 2 from Clark's Rama, part 2.
Oh, very cool. If you could pick a television show to have, say, one of the songs off of Metal Queens placed in, what TV show would you pick?
I would probably go back in time, and I would love to see one of those songs played on this famous It was something like Headbangers Ball back in the 80s, something like that.
Right.
I've never seen that, but lots of people are saying that it was super cool and it was cool with so many bands in this show and so on. Right now, there are not many TV shows that actually are playing this kind of a music. And the other thing is that I don't have TV, so I have no idea what's on air right now. If I'm
All right.
watching something, it's Netflix. So.
Yeah.
So
Um,
probably I would like to hear my songs in a kind of a movie on Netflix. So
okay.
yeah, let me put it that way.
Very good. Household appliance you can't live without.
Can you please repeat?
What is a household appliance that you can't live without?
Um,
Like dishwasher, refrigerator, microwave, air fryer, something along that line. Can opener.
right now it would be probably a fridge because it's so hot in Poland and it's cool to drink something cold.
Right. Favorite season? Are you a spring, summer, winter, or fall person?
Summer, I like when it's hot. I hate winters. I hate to get cold. So summer for sure. I even would love to move to a country where the sun is shining for all the time.
You've traveled a lot. This should be interesting. Favorite city?
Favorite city? Maybe not city, but area. I really like to travel to Polish seaside. And I really like Polish mountains.
Okay. What is your favorite part of the day? You're a morning person, night person?
Right after coffee. Because after morning coffee, life gets much better than before the coffee. But I believe I'm not the only person who say something like that. When you drink your morning coffee, life becomes better.
All right, sounds good. And what is your favorite type of coffee?
Just black coffee,
Just black.
or with some milk, but vegan milk because I don't drink milk.
Okay, very cool. Marta, it's been a pleasure as always chatting with you tonight. Once again, we've been chatting with Marta Gabriel here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. The album is called Metal Queens. It's coming out July 30th on Listenable Records. 10 tracks of some fabulous covers, groups you'll know, groups you might not know. It's a great musical lesson, you know. I enjoyed it very, very much. Discovering bands and stuff. It was awesome.
I'm very glad you like it, and thank you, Lance, for a nice talk. Always cool to speaking with you. Had a great time. Thank you for
too.
having me.
Give my best to Bart.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.